Chapter 3, Mishnah 3. Rabbi Shimon ruled in the preceding Mishnah that one may make more than 3 piles of manure per beis sa'ah. In that Mishnah, he was referring to piles that contain at least 10 lesech. Here, Rabbi Shimon adds that making more than 3 piles is allowed even if each is smaller than 10 lesech. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. A person may make 3 piles per beis sa'ah in his field, and if he wishes to make more than that number of piles, he may make as many as the legs of a pot. That is, he may make as many piles as he wants, even if each is smaller than 10 lesech, but not smaller than 3 lesech. Even making a large number of relatively small piles does not seem like an act of fertilization, since he is heaping the manure in piles and not spreading it across the ground. These are the words of Rabbi Shimon. The Mishnah elaborates upon the view of the sages, who ruled in the previous Mishnah that making more than 3 piles is forbidden, even if each measures 10 lesech or more. But the sages forbid making more than 3 piles unless he lowers the site of each pile 3 tefachim below the ground or raises it 3 tefachim above the ground. When the base of the pile is at least 3 tefachim below or above the ground, it is clear that he intends only to gather the manure in one place, and not to fertilize his field. Thus, the sages agree that making more than 3 piles is allowed. The Mishnah now discusses making one large pile. A person may make all his manure into one large storage pile. That is, instead of making 3 separate piles of 10 lesech each, he may dump all 30 lesech into a single pile and add to it without limit. Rabbi Meir, however, forbids one to make a single pile that contains more than 30 lesech unless he lowers it 3 tefachim onto the ground or raises it 3 tefachim above the ground. The previous Mishnah stated that each pile must consist of at least 10 lesech. This Mishnah teaches what a person should do if he has less than this amount. If one has only a small amount of manure, he may store it in a pile in his field and then add to it bit by bit. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, however, forbids one to store a small amount in his field and add to it later, unless he lowers the site of the pile 3 tefachim or raises it 3 tefachim, or unless he puts the manure on a boulder.